Testing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a legendary week. Hopefully, y'all can't hear my fan because boy, it's hot up in here. So we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about the Grant and Javon Kinlaw drama, and of course, get into some OTAs, some interesting news regarding Talanoa Hufanga. And of course, you know, me and Jason are probably going to go off on some tangent and bullshit for a while. But before we get started with all that and bring Jason on, we of course, got to remind everyone to listen to the end of the show to get your special coupon code to save 10% off of For the Faithful, by the Faithful Season 2 apparel, exclusively available at NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop. Help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link and save 10%. All you have to do is click on the link in the description of the video or podcast. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your concert, theater, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, and follow us on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr, and at Niner Faithful R on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
All right, so man, we really probably should get this oh damn it, probably get this intro just a little bit longer, just a tad bit longer, because unfortunately it's not long enough for me to do what I need to do, which is why I'm stalling for time right now. Let me see. No, this is the one I want. Okay, we have to go here. See, this is so embarrassing, so unprofessional. Okay, here we go. I do that, then I do this, and there we go. All right, yay! Now I bring Jason on. Yeah, what's up, bro? How you? Hey guys. Hey you guys. So
hey, what's up, Bert? A long time no see, brother.
I know, right? Oh shit, totally calmo. What's up, Roberto? How you doing, baby? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, I'm starting to get a little swole. Somebody's been doing their push-ups. Oh shit. Anyway, so real quick, the Grant and Javon Kinlaw drama. I don't want to spend 1,000,000 hours on this. We're only gonna new season, same gang. I love that. I'm a hella still at Roberto. New season, same gang. I love that. Bang bang, brother. So I want to say
I'll make a 5-hour show on it.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna let you do your thing, bro. Like I'm gonna let you go off on your whole rant. This is what I want to say. Okay, I think there's twofold to this. I think that do I think Javon's being a little sensitive? Yeah, I do. I personally think it's being a little sensitive of the simple fact that, for the most part, show me what Grant's saying that's not true. Like, look, I want nobody wants Javon Kinlaw to succeed more than myself, and I've been saying since the moment we drafted him. Go back and check the tape. That's the one thing about doing a podcast. Y'all can go back and check the tape. You know what I'm saying? So go back into what I said. I said Javon Kinlaw will always have the asterisk hanging around his neck, albatross hanging around his neck, that he was taken with the same pick that we got in the trade for DeForest Buckner, and that he played the same position, and that was not fair to Javon Kinlaw. Just like it was not fair to Solomon Thomas that he was taken number 3 overall. Let's be real. Reuben Foster should have been taken 3rd overall, and Solomon Thomas should have been taken number 31. I think that we can also say that if just as far as like talent. Now they both ended up washing out, so it doesn't really matter. But so with that, but to me, is Javon Kinlaw a bust? I mean, I cannot stand Grant, but I'm with you. His comments being on point, those comments have never touched. I mean, that's my whole thing about it is, look, if you attack somebody personally, if you're saying that he's lazy, sure, the comments about being in the training tent again, and the little comments about his workout videos and everything like that, okay, that's unnecessary. And am I ready to call Javon Kinlaw a bust? No. Now, I think it's very clear he'll never live up to DeForest Buckner, whatever, all that shit is let's be real. Javon Kinlaw is a 2-down player. He's a 2-down player. He's a run stuffer. He's a DJ Jones without the pass rush capability that DJ had. And so do I think Javon Kinlaw is going – my best outlook for Javon Kinlaw, is he going to have a contributing role on the Niners? Yeah. Is a 2-down run stuffer in the middle, big, huge motherfucker needed in the middle of our defense? Yes, it is. So Javon Kinlaw is going to play a role and play it well. But I think that he'll probably never live to be up what people think he should be at being a first-round pick, which I don't think that was ever really in the cards. Now, to Javon's point, you can't say all this negative shit. You can't be the villain. You can't put yourself out as a bad guy. You can't do things that Grant does that he knows what he does. Javon Kinlaw might not live up to Alden's number 99, much less default. No, I don't think so. But I think that's fine. I don't need him to be default. I don't need him to be Alden Smith. I don't need him to be anything like that. I need him just to be a solid role player. That's all I need for Javon Kinlaw to be. That's all I need him to be. On this D-line, on the 2022 D-line. We'll talk about 2023, 2024, whatever, when those seasons come. But I don't need him to be a 3-down player this year. I don't. When let's be real, when it's 3rd down and it's crunch time, Javon Kinlaw's not even going to be on the field.
What up, Jose?
It's going to be Nick Bosa, Drake Jackson, Eric Armstead, and I would assume Kerry Hyder. What's up, Jose? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. So I have no problem with what Javon did. Stand up for yourself, bro. I have no problem. But slapping his hat off his head and all that shit, like, all right, bro, like, let's be real. Walking around, saying that you thought you were going to retire, and then let's be real, bro. Like, okay, Grant, like, now I understand Grant's from Oakland. Grant went to Oakland Tech. Grant went to school in the hood. You feel me? Okay, but let's be real. Yeah, Jordan Willis has given us more than Kinlaw so far. That's a great comment. Grant Cohn was about to piss his fucking pants when Javon Kinlaw came up to him like that. All right, look, I've seen Javon Kinlaw in person. Okay, I have. That is one of the biggest human beings on both parts. True, I'm professional. I would say that Javon did act somewhat unprofessional. I have no problem with him approaching him. If he wants to show up, come to him and say, "Hey, Grant, you know what? I don't appreciate what you've been saying, bro. And you know what? When I get on the field, bro, I'm gonna make you eat your words." Nothing. Absolutely zero wrong with that. You feel me? Solomon Thomas, my personal thing about Solomon Thomas, speaking up about the situation. Now, no fault of his own. But Solomon, calm down there, bro. Okay, like I want to say this gently because I love Solomon Thomas as a person, and it's not his fault that he happened to. Let's be real, he got taken 3rd overall because he took a class with John Lynch. That's not his fault. That's poor drafting on the Niners' part. Let's be real. George Kittle is what's saving 2017 from being a complete bust. George Kittle and G.J. Jones. Even though DJ is no longer on the team. So I want to say that I have no problem with Javon Kinlaw sticking up for himself. Now, you want to start rapping him and calling him a bitch and all that shit and everything like that. The problem, he should have waited to confront Grant until the breakout season comes. I just looked ignorant, bad for the organization. I mean, I agree with that part in the sense that, like, look, bro, like, before you start, walking up to people who start acting like that, why don't you have a couple good seasons? But, like, yet again, I have no problem with people sticking up for himself. Now, Grant, I mean, my girl, it was so funny. We were watching apparently something from today that he did with his dad. And they were talking about what Pat McAfee said. And my girl was like, damn, they're still on that? And I remember, like, I watched a couple minutes of it. It was like a 15-minute video. I watched a couple minutes of it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need to hear about this because this to me, this is gossip TV. You feel me? And I'm not here for gossip TV. I watch Grant Cohn. I don't watch Grant Cohn for gossip TV. I watch Grant Cohn to find out different perspectives than Mayoko or whatever on the Niners. Because I do believe Grant is the only one that really holds Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's feet to the fire. Mayoko does a little bit, but yeah, a lot of the Niners beat writers are soft. Love Matt Mayoko. Met him. Nice dude. Totally respect him. He's one of the reasons that Niner Faithful Radio exists. When I was a little kid and I was like, wait, you could get paid to talk about the Niners? Like, that's been my life ambition ever since I was like fucking 12 years old. When I was reading him in the Press Democrat. You know what I'm saying? So I respect him, but yeah, Matt Mayoko's not holding Kyle Shanahan's feet to the fire. Grant is a hemorrhoid that comes with being a Niner fan. It is. And so I want to say that Grant has some fault in this. You know what I'm saying? And when you paint yourself as the bad guy, you better, you're going to catch some people. Go ahead, Jason. I know that you got plenty to say on the subject.
Oh, I'm just gonna open up with this. Grant Cohn's a bitch. It's that simple.
Oh yeah,
Grant Cohn. No. Look, Grant Cohn is that motherfucker that stands in the back of the bar behind all his friends talking shit. But then when you confront him man to man, he ends up bitching out and being like a little bitch. He is nothing more than a passive aggressive bully. Every season, he will pick on one or two Niners that are not doing that well, and he goes after them to the point where it's like it is straight bullying. And I know this is not saying that you can't critique a player and get on them about what they do.
He gets on them a lot.
He tries to use that. I'm a journalist. No, you're not. You're a fucking bully. And I would say this to Grant Cohn's face. I don't give a shit what anybody says, and if it means I'm never on here or anything else anymore, I don't give a shit. He is nothing more than a passive aggressive bully. And honestly, I'm proud of Kinlaw. Right now, Grant Cohn is right now touching himself because he feels so good that he finally got somebody to bite on his bullshit. And you can tell that's all he's ever wanted by the way he reports his shit. Because he was like, "Oh, I was going to retire. I was going to retire if he touches me." Fuck you.
Yeah.
That is nothing more than a
that's
bitch
the one
move.
thing. And that's the one thing I do have a problem with it is this. Now, I was talking to my girl like this, and I want to be fair. There's a reason when I say this. There's a reason I never went and applied to PG&E. I could have been 18 years old. I could have gone and applied to PG&E, gone in the I was just gonna get into
Jose, you hit it before TJ cut me off.
Yeah,
my bad. For another 20 minutes.
Yeah, no. I will say this. There's a reason, and I'll let you get back to it. But I will say that there's a reason that I didn't apply to PG&E. because I knew that being Terry Jr. was just going to come with some certain amount of expectations and just certain shit that comes from the fact that my dad is Terry. You feel me? And it's worked at PG&E since I was like 2.5, 3 years old. Maybe 3.5, something like that. I knew that. You feel me? That's why I never went to PG&E, because I never wanted to go with those expectations. So yeah, is Grant Cohn who he is because of who his daddy is? Yes, he is. Now that's not saying that he didn't have to work hard to get through school or whatever, but yes, being Lil Cohn's son got your foot into the door and got you your start in sports journalism. That's just a fact. So I will agree in the sense of the fact is that Grant Cohn, to me, the reason I don't respect what he did in a sense, and what I agree with you about being the one in the back of the bar talking shit behind all his friends, is the fact is that damn well he wouldn't say, if he knew that Javon Kinlaw wasn't going to do anything, like nothing legit, that Javon Kinlaw was not going to hurt Grant Cohn. He said he was even shocked that he slapped his hat off his head. And he went on bragged and said, my dad gave me up when I was super young, saying, hey, they can't touch you. So would Grant Cohn say 90% of the shit about 85% of the Niners that he says, if he knew that they couldn't do anything, if he knew that Javon Kinlaw walking up to him, but like, what's up, nigga, me, you right now, was a legit possibility, I promise you, Grant Cohn wouldn't say 90% of the shit that he does.
Looking at the video he posted before where he was joking around, like, what I say? Motherfucker, you know what you said.
Yeah,
like
so
you were pushing buttons and you were gonna get somebody eventually.
That's what I don't like is that us, why we take generally, I would say we take more of a positive spin on the Niners. I feel that we're like positive central leaning. And the point that, yeah, generally our show is more positive about the Niners and everything like that, but I have no problem ripping into Kyle Shanahan's ass. Y'all shouldn't have seen us during that losing streak last year. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should have seen me during 2017 and 2018 when I was doing the show. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem, but we'll praise and we'll praise and we'll criticize. And that's the thing I don't like about Grant. I feel a lot of other beat writers are all positive, and Grant's all negative. And I don't feel that there's nobody. I just don't feel like we have a balance. Somebody
that you can be negative. You can be. I think we've almost uttered the exact same criticisms of Javon Kinlaw. Look, you need to step up your game a little bit. But we're not doing this. Mm-hmm. We're not here. We're also not in his face. And like I said, I would tell Kinlaw, like, hey, man, look, I got nothing against you. You obviously know
I want him
as a
to
first-round draft pick. Yeah. But you don't just sit there and keep poking the beast over and over and not expect somebody eventually. Like, okay, so you own a restaurant, right? This is basically because Grant Cohn has fucking locker room access. If you own a restaurant and I came in every day and ate at your restaurant and said, hey, man, your food sucks. Come in the next day. Hey, man, your food sucks. Come in the next day. Hey, man, your food sucks. Eventually, I'm going to get your face attention.
I'm going to be like, you know what, bro? Stop coming here then, cuz.
Yeah, quit fucking coming in here.
That's exactly what I'm going to say. That's exactly, well, then quit coming here, bro, if the food sucks. My girl will tell you, I'm the first thing. If you don't like how I do something, then do it your fucking self. My girl, there's things my girl does not ask me to do because she knows I'm not going to do them the way she wants. And I'm just going to be like, hey, if you don't like it. But hold on. I feel that these top guys wouldn't be as bad about Grant because they want to work with him. I like how Homeboy told it like it is. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to kiss anybody's. Look, I've met Grant Cohn. I've had a beer with Grant Cohn. You feel me? And I remember looking him dead in his face and saying, look, I have no problem with anybody talking shit about the Niners. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. I remember it was before the home opener in 2019 against the Steelers. And I remember this is so funny because we ended up doing this and still won. But I said, look, is there a possibility that the Niners could lose tomorrow? I said, look, we turned the ball over 5 times like we did against Arizona. Yeah, we're going to lose that football game. Even though we did and still won. But still, I said, I have no problem. I'll replace it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you. So that's the thing that I don't, to get back to his point. I feel that.
I like it.
So I get to Jose's point is that's why I don't respect. I feel that he became a journalist because he wanted to be like his dad. You feel me? And he covers the Niners because that's the team that his dad covered. And it was cool because he got to work with his dad the first couple years of his career. And, you know, sure, he'll say he grew up a 49ers fan. And, you know, he gets to still work in the Bay Area and all that type of stuff. Where you and I, this is what we like. If you and I got a call to write for Sports Nation or whatever the fuck he works for, I know it's not SI.
SI. Yeah, he works
no,
for SI.
it's a subcategory of SI.
Well,
but anyway, if we got to work for any company, any type of ESPN, whatever type of company, called us up right now and said, "Hey, we want to bring y'all on once a week. You know, whatever. Y'all are going to be the beat writers for this website." That would be our dream. You see what I'm saying? Like that would be. I won't speak for you, Jason, but that would be like my childhood dream. That'd be like probably the closest that I could ever get to really being what I wanted to be, which was to be a Niner. But probably the most realistic thing I could do is to cover the Niners for whatever, ESPN, whatever, and say this is my job. Like I'm a credentialed press. I can go to OTA practice. Hey, bro, we're meeting up at practice next week. You know, type of shit. Like this is what I do for a living. Would be my dream. And I feel that it's not Grant's dream. I don't believe he dreamt to be a journalist. I believe he wanted to covering the Niners. He wanted to be like his dad. And so I feel that Jose, there is that lack of respect for that job. That lack of you know how players say, I respect the game. Joe Thornton talks about it all the time, how he respects the game of hockey. I don't believe that Grant Cohn respects journalism. In the sense of like, I get
he
what
wants to be TMZ.
Said.
That's what he wants.
Yeah,
he wants to be TMZ.
There you go. That is a perfect example. He wants to be
the paparazzi.
He wants to be more paparazzi, where we want to cover the team. You know, negative, positive aspects, you know, and everything. And the one thing that's always like to me, I'm a firm believer. A lot of people don't know this, and I'm not trying to get political here, y'all, or anything. But a lot of people don't know that Malcolm X had a meeting with the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan to discuss a possibility of some property in South Carolina that all black people were going to go live in, and they were going to leave them alone, and black people were going to stay there, right? And the reason I bring that up is that this is Malcolm X meeting with the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. But they still heard each other out and respected, you know, sat down and said, hey, maybe we could. So the reason I bring that up is I listen to anybody. You know what I'm saying? I want to listen to Grant Cohn. You know, let me hear reasons why Kyle Shanahan's not that great of a head coach. You know, or his flaws. I think he's a great head coach, but I agree with Grant.
He does have flaws.
Yeah, we talked about. I know, right? Will you be my daddy so I can have a job like yours for real, Jose? Shit. You know, me and Grant discussed these flaws of Kyle Shanahan. We discussed it while we were having a beer, and I agreed with some of his. You know, so it was no problem. But my thing is that you just it's just not that love, that love of what you do. You know, I don't feel that Grant. It's just the TMZ. It's the rumors. It's the reasons why you and I have discussed this. I don't want this to be a rumor show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Talking about ridiculous shit that's never going to happen. You know, the Nick Bosa getting traded, or what was it? The trading Deshaun Watson, Nick Bosa for Deshaun. I don't want to even entertain that shit because that's not happening. Because I promised you, the Niners aren't trading Nick Bosa. Crocker. I take Croc.
I feel that's a number statement.
I love Croc.
I mean, that's an easy one right there.
Yeah, I love Croc. And Croc, see, Croc is, to me, Croc is probably the best you could be as a Niner fan. Croc does not hide the fact that he is a Niner fan. You know, he doesn't. By the way, I've been a fan of Crocker when he was on the San Jose Sabercats. I remember I had a bobblehead.
Crocker's good. Like I said, I like his shows. Yeah.
I had a bobblehead. My step grandma has it up in her house right now. I had an Aaron Crocker bobblehead doll. for when he was on the Cats. Get him, go Cats. Anyway, even though we don't exist anymore. Anyway, so Eric Crocker will criticize the Niners. Eric Crocker will say, "Hey, I don't know why the hell you drafted this player. I don't know why the hell they're doing this." He was all last year. He was talking about how all last year he was talking about not understanding, not Brandon Ayuk not having more of a role in the offense. You know, when he was in quote unquote Kyle Shanahan's doghouse. Yeah, and he was very critical of that, but he'll praise people. Like I still look at Crocker and say, "Hey, Croc, you're a Niner fan. It's okay to be down on the Niners. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to disagree with what they're doing." We've been very critical of the fact that Jimmy's still on this fucking football team.
Yeah.
We've been critical of that. I have no idea.
Calling out Lynch for supposedly having, was it 2 second-round draft picks? It's like, that's a lie.
Take that shit. Shut the fuck
up. Yeah, like that's a lie. There's no way you had 2 second rounds on the table and you didn't take that shit. I'd have took that.
I would have been okay with that. If you would have
taken that mid-season last year. If they had 2 seconds on the table for Jimmy, bye.
I don't care. There's no point in time when Kyle Shanahan said that what was it? It was either the Chicago game or the Yams game. That he was like, if we lost that game, he was getting ready to make the change and go to Trey. You feel me? If I can't remember if it was the Chicago game or the Yams game after the Arizona game, the first Yams game. That if we would have lost that game, he would have pulled the cord and just said, "Okay, we're chalking the season up." Let me see. What do you guys think about? Could be 1 week. I'm actually going to that game, Roberto. I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous because
it's Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Broncos are poised to be a good team. All they're missing with last year was a good quarterback. But overall, top to bottom, they have a damn good roster, and they just needed somebody to steer the shit.
You know, you and I had talked about, and then I want to get into Talanoa a little bit after, or let you finish your thoughts on Grant, and then I want to get into Talanoa after this.
Fuck it, I'm done. Let's move on to something else.
Yeah, but okay, so then we'll move on to Talanoa after this. Is that you and I came out how we like the Niners schedule. We think that this is going to be, tuck and pray until we can get to after that trip to Atlanta. Carolina, we're going to start to get the home games. We're going to start to, we got that bye week. Things will start to turn around that time. It's a very tough. We got fucked in the sense that we play probably 2 of the best quarterback divisions in all of football. If you look at the NFC West and the AFC West, that's the one thing that this schedule fucked us this year. We play a lot of good quarterbacks. We play a lot of good. When you talk about when you talk about, you obviously talk about Kyler Murray, who say whatever you want about him as a quarterback, sure as hell has our number. Say whatever you want. Say whatever you want about him. Which I think this is just. I think this is going to be the only thing I really think stops us this year is mobile quarterbacks. I just think that's going to be a weakness of this defense. Every defense has weaknesses. And I think that's why it's critical in this little time window before the league starts to transition to more mobile quarterbacks where we get a Super Bowl. While we still have some quarterbacks out there that are statues that, let's be real, our defense will feast on. While Aaron Rodgers is still around, while Tom Brady is still around. Tampa scares me in the sense that they're a good football team and Tom Brady can make plays. He can make you just enough plays to win a ball game. He is.
He led the league in passing last year. He's still a top 5 quarterback.
Obviously he is what a lot of people would consider him this year. This generation's Joe Montana, in the sense that Joe didn't need to have a great game. If you look at some of the playoff performances Joe went through, some of them were shit. Dallas wins it all. Come on, Jose. Come on, bro. We're trying to have a serious podcast here, Jose. Come on, bro. Talking about the Cry Girls winning it all, bro. You don't even know.
I'm gonna go.
I'm so scared to even say it. Huh?
I think we're actually playing Denver at the right time because
Yeah.
if you go by how the schedule looks, we got week 1, we got the Bears, quote unquote, a weak team. Week 2, we got Seattle. I think Seattle's going to burn themselves out week 1 because the Broncos and Russell Wilson are going back to Seattle. You can't tell me that is going to get emotionally draining for that, or that's going to be emotionally draining for that team. So I see the Seahawks being a little weak because they're going to spend a whole lot of time trying to get that week 1 game won. And you can even say the same thing for the Broncos. Wilson wants to go back to Seattle and win.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, even though this is the week after, even though this is another week before that, how much can they refill the tank? So I think we can almost look at it as we have a quote-unquote easier schedule leading up to what should be the first test for this team in week 3, because we should beat both the Seahawks and the Bears heading into that game. And
I would think, and see, that's my thing about it. Is I'm waiting. I'm waiting for because on paper, if you take away the quarterback position, on paper, we should be able to beat those 3 teams. To me, the first half, give or take of the season is okay. Well, when is Trey going to make that rookie mistake? When's Trey going to have that moment where it's like, hey, you're glad that it happened now. You're glad it didn't happen in a playoff game. And hey, it's bound to happen. It's better to happen year 2 than in year 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Get it out of the way type of thing. But, and the Niners are in a very unique position where they're trying to win a championship while starting a young rookie, essentially rookie quarterback. Essentially, fuck Grant and Angels.
Hey, me and Ed are now best friends.
Yeah, I know, right? So to Roberto, to get to your point about the Niners Broncos, I'm super excited about that game. I think it's going to be a great game.
Are you going to do a show from there, by the way?
Yeah. We're going to do a pregame. I'm gonna try to do we're gonna do a pregame. I'll try to do it from the tailgate. We might have to do.
Oh yeah, you gotta do something from Mile High, man.
Yeah, we're gonna do, or I think it's called Empower Stadium or something now.
Something I forget.
Yeah, we're gonna do something. I was gonna let you do your halftime because it's not really worth it. And then
I'm gonna be honest. I think you should. And I don't.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
But you should do the halftime from there. I think that'd be legit. Like I plan on doing the halftime live. In fact, when I come down for the Dolphins game, I plan on doing the halftime live with you there.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to figure out tickets about that soon. But anyway,
we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
Anyway, so I'm planning my big thing, and I haven't talked to Brian about this. I'm assuming that he's gonna do post game again this year. I'm gonna hop on the post game. It's probably what I'm gonna do. I don't know. We'll have to see about time, and see whether me and my girl are just gonna have my mom come pick us up, whether we're gonna have somebody that we go to the game with come drop us off, whether we're gonna take bus, whether it's close enough for us to walk. I haven't. So it depends on all that. But I'm planning to do pregame from there. And I'm planning definitely to hop on the post game. When Brian does the post game, I'll just do the post game from Mile High. That's the only thing that really makes me nervous is Russell Wilson, but I think that will get canceled out by the factor, and that's why it's when you play somebody, not necessarily who you play, but when. But and until I see the consistency of Trey Lance, where you feel confident in the sense. I'm gonna be nervous of when's that rookie mistake gonna come.
Well, the Broncos kind of got a week off too on week 2 because they're playing the Texans.
So we'll see, but that's definitely. I agree with you, Jason. That's the first game that we should have any real trouble with. No, I was talking about the Broncos. That's the first.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be that's the first big test. That's a really good team.
That's definitely first big test. obviously Kansas City later on, and
Oh yeah, but
which I like our chances against Kansas City more than Denver. Because to me, I've watched now. Of course, this is coming from watching Russell Wilson. Let's be real, his whole career. At least twice a year, his whole career, up until this season. I've watched every game Russell Wilson's played against the Niners.
Living in Seattle, I've watched him more than I really want to admit.
Exactly. So, but to me, there was nothing in that Super Bowl, or even in 2018 when we played them, there was nothing that made me think that Patrick Mahomes is fucking invincible. Because if you really look at it, until 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we actually really pretty much shut down their offense. They really weren't doing shit. The reason the Super Bowl was even close is because we weren't doing shit on offense.
And Mahomes has these weird, terrible things where I guess you can say weird and terrible, but when he gets hot, he's hot. He's kind of like Steph Curry. There's times where he just looks average, but man, when he's on point, you don't stop him. You can't. And that's,
and that's why
Mahomes,
that's why you
under wraps for 3 quarters.
And look, I mean, I just said it. We watched Joe do it so many times. Look back to the 89 Super Bowl. The Super Bowl I became a fan, Super Bowl 23. Joe didn't have that great of a game in Super Bowl 23. Hence, probably one of the main reasons, besides, the record-breaking performance, but another factor in Jerry being the MVP of that Super Bowl. Joe didn't have a great Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He did what he needed to do, and why he was our quarterback and Joe Montana, why he was, is that one drive.
Yeah.
One drive, he was superhuman. And that's Joe Montana made a career out of that. I don't need to be superhuman for 8 drives. I mean, of course, there were games that Joe was flawless. I mean, the Super Bowl the next year.
Every quarterback gets hot.
Yeah. I mean, the Super Bowl next year was probably, to me, greatest performance of a Super Bowl. I don't think anybody will ever. Just like, I remember rewatching that Super Bowl. They replayed all the Niners Super Bowls when we were in the Super Bowl 54. They replayed all the Super Bowls. And I remember watching Super Bowl 24. And, I literally, I've never seen such a flawless performance about Wilson in a playoff game. My question is, Wilson, one-hit wonder. Look, I will go to my fucking grave saying Russell Wilson is a Super Bowl champion because he had pretty much probably one of the most legit defenses of all time. And the 2013 Legion of Doom. I will go to my grave.
He still makes plays. I mean, I won't say that he's a one-hit wonder in terms of Super Bowls, yes. But overall, he's still a damn good quarterback. You can't take that away from him.
Do I think Russell Wilson's overrated? Yes, I do. But, I mean, would I take him over any Niner quarterback of the last – I mean, pretty much you would have to go back to Steve Young to probably take a quarterback that you would say, hey, straight up, swap whatever quarterback, Alex, Jeff Garcia, whoever, straight up for Russell Wilson. Come on, bro. There ain't a Niner fan alive that wouldn't make that trade of any quarterback since Steve Young. I would take Russell Wilson over any Niner quarterback, including Cap, which, I know it's
we can go deep into Cap, but the Niners didn't do him. They didn't do him right as far as development.
To say,
not even
that's what I'm saying.
They screwed up his development.
Honestly, I think one of the worst things was to take away Cap's coaching staff. Because I think
they try to turn him into Peyton Manning.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what? Really, honestly, to get back to the grant, and then we're going to go on Talanoa. I will say this is that for somebody now, I don't remember. I'm not going to quote and say I remember a lot, but I remember Grant Harbaugh did not like any of the media. No, it was very clear. That wasn't.
I think that's fair. That's a pretty bold, a non-bold statement.
A lot of it's just he kind of has I remember he talks about Trey, and the Niners downperforming Trey, or how the Niners on the season tickets this year, or the season passes, or whatever, some type of game advertising. Trey Lance isn't advertised. The Niners didn't have him featured in the state of the franchise last year and everything like that. And to him, it's just he likes to feed into the narrative that Trey isn't who Kyle wanted, and doesn't ever leave for the factor that, you know what, the Niners don't want Trey Lance to have all the fucking pressure, because like that's smart. Like I remember Vish said how in Chicago they had Justin Fields, the franchise, and all that type of shit and everything. I said, yeah, and what are you going to do if you wash out of the league in 4 years? I think especially with this franchise, and I think that people don't understand this is no fault of Trey Lance. No fault of Trey Lance, but he is going to be held up to Joe Montana and Steve Young. That is going to be the standard of which he is ultimately judged upon. That's unfair to any quarterback, but that's just what you do when you take snaps under center in the red and gold. That's just the way
it's like playing for the Bulls. You're going to be compared to Jordan. You're going to go play for the Oilers, up in Edmonton. You're going to be compared to Wayne Gretzky.
Exactly.
So it's any great, because we had Seattle. We're talking about just Seattle. Any quarterback that plays in Seattle from now on is compared to Wilson. It's just pick your point, pick your player for any sport in any franchise.
And you know what? It's a factor into drafting a quarterback. And you know what? It's important. It's important for Trey. And this is the thing about it, is I didn't believe this with Cap. I really didn't. And I wanted it so bad to believe this in Cap. But Trey, to me, seems more of a franchise quarterback than Cap. And attitude. And the sense is that Cap treated it like a 9-to-5. That was no secret. That was not a hidden secret. That Kaepernick was I come in at 9, I come in whatever time, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever. I leave at 5 o'clock. Cap wasn't going to, take back film and study it another 4 hours at home and everything like that. Trey is. And the one thing about it is Trey conducts himself like an NFL quarterback. When he comes out and he says, hey, with the most due respect to you, I really don't give 2 fucks what y'all think. I'm out there playing for my teammates and my coaches. Yeah, that matters. And so I think that Kyle's not stupid. John Lynch isn't stupid. They know what the expectation of this fan base is. And the number one thing that they want to do is they want to set Trey Lance up for success. So do I think by not, slapping the franchise and having them do commercials with Steve Young and Joe Montana like they did with Jimmy, and,
everybody comes along differently.
Flashing his face all over Levi's and all that. Yeah, that's kind of lowering the expectations on him. Because I don't think Trey Lance will ever live up to the highest expectations that everybody has of him. I think Trey Lance is going to be a top 7 quarterback. I think at his peak, I think he'll be in the top 5. But the career year by year average, he's going to be around 6 to 10. Good enough to win you a championship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think Trey Lance is going to win us the championship when you pair him with Kyle Shanahan, the best play designer, best play caller, best play sequencer in the NFL. Trey Lance with his unique skill set, and then you add George Kittle, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, whatever offensive weapons, a great running game. I think that people think that Trey's going to throw for 6,000 yards and 60 touchdowns. No. If I really believe that most games, Trey Lance is probably going to average 17 to 25 throws a game.
Yeah.
I think if you're getting above that, that's when Kyle's starting to get nervous. Because that's taking us out of our game plan. That's taking us out of
probably means
how
they're
we
playing
wanna
from
play.
behind quite often as well.
That too. And I think that's what scares me, because people see Patrick Mahomes and they see the 60-yard bombs and they see the throwing 50 times a game and they see the 50 to 48 scores and all that. And I just don't think that's how the Niners are going to be.
Yeah.
Because I think it's almost going to be, do you want stats? Do you want the 6,000 yards, 50 touchdowns? But we're playing from behind and we're probably consistently 9-8, 8-9 every year. Or do you want us playing championship, meaningful football in January and obviously a couple games a year, or a couple times playing a game in February? Because to play those games in February, I believe that we need Trey Lance passing no more than 25 times a game. We need to run the ball 40 times a game, and we need to play excellent defense, because that's the way our football team is built to win consistently. Do I think that we could win? Do I think it's possible that Trey Lance could win a game like Jimmy did in New Orleans in 2019? Yeah, I think that eventually it'll be possible for Trey to win a game like that. But can Trey get us 13 regular season wins, 14 regular season wins, and 3 wins in the playoffs to bring us to a championship, throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game? No. I don't think that's not even how we want to play. That's not how we're built as a football team. I think what you're seeing with the drafting of TDP and Trey Sherman and the drafting of Aaron Banks and bigger offensive linemen and everything, I think we're starting to go to a power football team. I think that we're a football team that's going to want to beat you up.
Well, yeah, we've gone to that. We said that all last year too with some of these draft picks and with injuries and everything. Like we didn't quite get there, but maybe this year's the year we finally make that jump.
Lastly, before we get out of here, because Bubby's probably going to want to eat dinner soon and stuff. Talanoa. I'm gonna do 2 more subjects. Talanoa Hufanga. Does he make the jump this year? And I don't need him to be a superstar. But do you think he has the ability not to be the weak link of the defense?
Does he have the ability? Yes. But the question comes down to, I sure as I hope so. I want him to be the heir apparent to that position.
I think
the question is his coverage ability. That's the only knock that you have on him, is that at times he is a terrible pass coverage or terrible in pass coverage. And you'd hope that he spent most of the offseason working on that.
To me,
but I mean, I also think that we have other options to where if he doesn't, we'll be okay.
Apparently, and this ain't just a Grant thing. Apparently, Greg Odom has looked like it's very clear why the Colts kept him to special teams and weren't in a rush to re-sign him. I think it's going to be Talanoa. And the reason I think it's going to be Talanoa is I think he'll make some improvement. He seems like a really hard worker. People of faith generally are, want to work hard and things like that. So I think that what the Niners are going to bet on is that, hey, we're okay with Talanoa giving up 1 play a game or a play every couple games, because with our improved pass rush and the improved,
you should have less pressure to make those
coverage around him, is that you're not going to have the opportunity to explore you're not going to have the time to expose his poor coverage. you're not going to have the opportunity to explore it enough for it to cost us football games. Because if you're dropping back to pass that much, that means that the Niners have the lead, which is playing. We just spent the last segment talking about how that plays exactly into how the Niners want to play football. So how much are you going to even get the ball back if you're dropping back to pass as much as that? And B, with our pass rush and our improved coverage, with the front seven and our improved secondary, you're not going to get the opportunity enough for it to cost us football games enough. It might cost us one, sure, like a fluke game when we play Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, because Patrick Mahomes has the arm strength to run back 60 yards and then fire it 50 yards down the field on a frozen rope.
Well, put this up.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, I saw this article. This is what made me bring it up. Going so far
by our favorite journalist.
Yeah, no, I saw that he said that. And it wasn't just him. I think Lombardi was saying something too.
Yeah, this is the one that I saw when I was scrolling through stuff earlier this morning. That I saw that he has looked good so far.
I know that Dylan, big shout out to my boy Dylan. I know Dylan that used to work for us. He had let me take it off. He had written an article. I didn't get a chance to read it because my feed recycled before I had a chance to click on it. But he had written a piece about Talanoa Hufanga and basically how everybody was kicking and screaming all off season that, we need a safety, we need a safety, we need a safety. And basically, hey, y'all tripping because y'all been ignoring Talanoa Hufanga. Yeah. And that was the thing about it is I think what's going to be is I don't think he's going to make that jump. I think he's still going to have some of those same issues. I think that's just part of his game. Those are going to be issues in his game. I think what's going to happen is they're saying, hey, by building him almost like we did on offense with Jimmy. Hey, we know Jimmy has these limitations. So what we do is we build the offense around him to help prop him up and build the offense to allow him to fill in the strengths. Talanoa is not strong safety is not enough of a position to build your defense around. So what you say to support Talanoa just as a player is, hey, we got an amazing pass rush that majority of the time they're just simply not going to have enough time to expose you. Majority of snaps, passing snaps. Either it's going to because it's not a tackling issue.
No, he's got good tackling.
So it's not like an issue where it's like, hey, we can isolate you in space, get the ball to this player quick, and then you're going to miss some tackles. That's not the issue. The issue is long developing routes.
He's just fine inside the box, inside like 10 yards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cross field routes, things of that nature. Well, the Niners are going to bet by boosting up our secondary, or boosting up our D-line. D-line, that was already a freak of nature. Boosting up our D-line this year, you're not going to have those. You're not going to have enough time consistently to run those cross field routes that are going to expose Talanoa.
Mm-hmm.
And also you add in the upgrade of coverage around him too, that we're just simply not going to put him in enough position where he's going to be isolated one-on-one with people who are way more athletic than him.
The issue I could see is kind of like how you had said earlier about the issue being mobile quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, those kind of guys, even Justin Herbert coming out of the AFC. When they start running and now those plays start getting longer, that's when things he starts getting exposed perhaps. But like I said, that's the one thing I hope they worked on this offseason. Like, hey, we got to teach you to read coverage better, where you need to be in coverage, all that kind of. Because the rest of your game is on point.
What's going to happen too is he's a very instinctive player. And so by getting familiar in the defense, it's going to allow him to play more instinctual, that I do believe, because he's not going to get that significantly faster. I mean, he's essentially as fast as he's going to be. Yeah. So then how do you really make significant improvements to your quote unquote speed? Is you just anticipate. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to.
He needs to call Sherman.
Yeah, There you
Sherman
go.
wasn't the fastest, but he knew where to be at the right time. That was his biggest.
Exactly. We saw it in 2019. Richard Sherman physically was done when he came to the Niners.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, he was not physically, he was not anywhere near the corner he was, pre-Achilles.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying prime Richard Sherman. I'm just saying your career average Richard Sherman.
But
we
could
were
tell
getting,
that he knew where things were going to happen before they happened.
What we were getting is to the last of the peak physicalness, just maybe as it started to come down the cliff hold, but the maximum smarts. Because any football person will tell you that's a rush. Football is a rush to be where your mental can catch up before you're physically break down. That's what basically being a quarterback is. Can your mental processing catch up, before you get your body beaten up to where, and that's we got Richard Sherman. 2019 was the apex of where his health was just enough, and we got the peak smarts of Richard Sherman. And so I think that's what's going to be, if Talanoa makes it into anything beyond a fair a replaceable / keeper safety, it's going to be his mental game catching up to his why his physicality is still there. Last question. And I wanted to get into this because I think this is an interesting thing. Niners don't make the we'll say NFC Championship. I won't say Super Bowl because we didn't even make the Super Bowl last year. Niners don't repeat going to the NFC Championship this year. What's the main reason?
I'm not going to say lack of trade development. Let me rephrase that. Not that Trey doesn't play well, but he hasn't developed quite to the point yet, just because sometimes it just takes time. Or it's either going to be that, or Kyle's going to let his arrogance get to him. Can we go for it on 4th and 1 or 3rd? Why are we not running it for these short yardage things? Or how sometimes his play calling gets real questionable. Like, why don't we just run it with like half a yard to go on 4th down?
But you and I were screaming about that Trent Williams, basically pulling and lead blocking.
Yeah, Trent Williams sweep
for Debo. I literally don't. Which
give me a jet sweep with Trent leading the way. I am moving on the other team if I see a man that big and the fans running at me.
The fact that that's still legal, like, I don't understand why we don't take advantage of the fact that play is legal. Anyway, yeah, I agree.
Now you add in Jason Poe. Oh, brother, come on.
But
I've seen a lot of people read that he's not going to make the team necessarily as a lineman, and he might make it as a fullback / tight end and use him as like a utility player with big like a heavy set or something. I'm like, all right, cool.
I'm worried about people getting snatched off our practice squad this year.
Oh yeah,
I'm really worried about because we're going to lose some.
We have some really good practice.
Yeah,
we're really good practice squad players.
Some quality. This is starting to get to the point with the Niners roster where this is why it sucks not to have a developmental league.
Yeah.
Where we don't have the Niners don't have like the Shark Lab where we have the Barracuda. You feel me?
It's the XFL in a couple years. Just wait. It's already there.
Fine. Okay, cool. Awesome. Great. I hope that works.
Well, they have an actual contract with the NFL. So I know that there's been prior versions of it that have failed, and the USFL is probably going to fail. But knowing that they're actually in bed with the NFL, I think this is actually going to be legit.
Yeah, I think that any football league that's going to be like not like shtick football, like arena football or something like that, like legit football league. The best that you can hope to become is a developmental league for the NFL because no football league is going to compete with the NFL. That's not happening.
No. Something crazy would have to implode the NFL. The NFL,
yeah,
which I think we've talked about before. The NFL is not going to be around in 100 years probably, just because basketball, baseball, and all those others, it's going to pass it, and soccer. But for right now,
I believe it'll be the NFL. I don't think that baseball is going to get more popular. I don't think soccer is going to get more popular. I don't think these sports are going to get more popular.
Say otherwise, man.
I think it's going to be the NFL. I think it's going to be people choosing not to play football. See what I'm saying? So it's not that I don't like watching football anymore or, football is less appealing. It's just that the fact is that because what really drives sports? Youth. It's not us that keeps the NFL alive. It's younger generations. It's our kids, then our grandkids, and our great grandkids. They're really generally keeping the NFL alive. It's people around anywhere between our age, mid 30s to 40s men, and kids. Fandom is kept alive by people like us. The sport itself is kept alive by young people. It's kept alive by kids falling in love with the sport, growing up, wanting to become, the next Aaron Rodgers or whatever like that. And, it's going to happen. Kids in the Bay Area are going to grow up and wanting to be the next Trey Lance. Kids in Kansas City are growing up wanting to be Patrick Mahomes. Any kid who picks up the basketball in the Bay Area, I guarantee he wants to be Steph Curry.
There's a random kid who wants to be Draymond.
Or Draymond. Yeah, I mean, I know a couple people whose favorite player is Draymond.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like 95% of the
when Shaq was on the Lakers, Shaq was my favorite player. Kobe didn't become my favorite Laker until Shaq left. I was always a bigger Shaq fan.
Shaq was easier to like. Kobe was still a dick at the time, and people didn't understand him.
Well, it was just because I was a big boy. I couldn't emulate Kobe.
Plus, Shaq is more relatable.
Whenever I played basketball, I was used like Shaq. That's basically was my game. I'm bigger than you, and I'm basically going to bully you inside the key. That's basically how big boys are taught to play basketball. You're bigger, basically, you bully them.
Yeah, but you like I said, you couldn't relate to Kobe's mentality. So a lot of people that just comes off as him being an asshole.
I was never a crossover, and I wasn't that athletic, bro. To crossover and dribble through my legs, still can't dribble through my legs. But basketball was never really my sport anyway. But now I think that what I will say what will happen, and what I think will also dictate to the downfall is that with the country, the demographics of the country becoming more Hispanic, and things of that nature, coming from a lot of Latin America, the country becoming more and more Latin, the majority of the country demographics are going to change. So let's just say right now this year you have 100,000 Hispanics born in America. And 20 years from now, it doubles to or triples to 300,000. Once you get to a point where majority of the population and significantly majority of the population is either from Latin America or, hey, my grandparents came from Latin America or my parents came from Latin America, those people they're not going to grow up with the love of football like we did. Like, why did you love football? Probably your pops, huh?
No.
Oh. Mine was my grandpa and my pops.
No, my dad was an asshole coach. I hated my dad as my coach.
I'm just saying, like generally it's your pops or somebody.
Yeah, I just liked hitting people.
Football, huh?
I just liked hitting people.
Yeah, I'm just saying. There's generally somebody like it was going to my grandpa's house watching football. You generally have that person that gets you into.
My dad was a Raiders fan. You think I want to watch football with him?
Go figure. But same here. Actually, ditto. My dad's a Raider fan or was a Raider fan as well. But and you're gonna have less than that. You're gonna grow up with your dad taking you to soccer games.
Yeah.
You're just gonna grow up where your uncle and all your family, sporting events are around Mexico soccer or Chavez or Liverpool or Manchester United or
Well, you could use
whatever.
the same theory for like somebody coming from like, say the Middle East or Africa. Soccer is definitely a bigger sport in
Yeah,
those two parts of them.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Obviously, like I
So
said,
it's
it's the
not even
same
Latin
concept.
America. With the country, let's be real, with the country becoming less European, which is generally, I mean, soccer is big in Europe anyway, so that's not necessarily matter. But with the country changing demographics, with less America, my family's been here for 8 generations, Americans.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Becoming less and less a part of the population in America. I do believe that football eventually will get past. It'll be many factors, but that is one of the factors.
Oh,
and I think there will always be poor kids. I won't even say black. There will always be poor kids. We're doing fine, media. How you doing?
What's up, brother?
I believe that there are going to always be poor kids that are willing to bash their heads in to get their family out of the ghetto. Whether you're Hispanic, Samoan,
Oh yeah, I mean that'll always
whatever
be
you are, there are always going to be poor people, big, strong, poor people. Generally black and Samoan, just because we're generally the bigger breed, races. Generally, they're always going to be, America's Samoa. Isaac Sopoaga was, America's Samoa. They're always going to be poor people willing to bash their heads in, to get their family out of the ghetto. So football will always be around. But yeah, I do believe that it'll eventually lose its popularity. It eventually will. I know that now, apparently, my girl was telling me they got a deal now to pay the women's U.S. soccer team as much as the men's. So I do believe that that's going to be a big impact. Soccer is becoming more popular in America just in general. I mean, I believe you can get English Premier League games on cable.
Yeah.
Without like a special package. I believe you could just turn on ESPN. Like I believe ESPN legitly covers.
I think it's ESPN Plus because I see it all the time on my ESPN Plus stuff.
Doing great. Wishing it was Thursday already because NBA Finals. Yeah, you know what, bro?
Hey, if you want to watch good sports, tonight is the NHL. The Oilers and the Avalanche play. Just so you know.
Yeah, no, I mean hockey. Look, I'm gonna tell you this.
Sorry,
obviously,
I don't follow NBA.
I won't say this because I don't even know. I guess maybe I would give a slight edge to, a random hockey game, a random basketball game. I guess maybe I'm watching the random hockey game. And that also goes to the fact my girl likes hockey. She doesn't care about basketball. She likes hockey. So that's probably just like, okay, babe, like whatever. We got but without the Sharks. So what draws me, what makes me say this statement is not a factor now, but there's nothing like playoff hockey. Now, I'm not going to get that feeling from watching the Avs Oilers tonight. So I'm not going to. But like legitly, just as far as there's nothing on earth that could play playoff hockey. Just because the crazy thing about playoff hockey is like there was what was it 3 overtime? It's like a 3 or 4 overtime game against Dallas. The Sharks had in Dallas one year. It's like 4 overtimes. It was crazy ass game. I actually think that I don't believe there was another game, but you could have the craziest, most intense game that you could possibly this is one of the most craziest games in NHL playoff history. And that's only game 1, bro.
Yeah,
you got at least another 3 games of this. You know what I'm saying? It could be, it's just football. It's just so let's be real. The most exciting part of any football game is generally the fourth quarter. Hockey is just crazy when it's that amount of intensity and you could have literally 7 games of that shit.
I did read an article earlier that someone was saying that because of how the NBA games are scheduled, that's leading to a lot of the blowouts they're having in the playoffs now is because of the way they're scheduled versus how they used to be.
Like I said, the Lakers weren't in it, so I've been paying zero attention to. I think
Kraken ain't in it, but I'm still watching.
But you know what I think it is? You know what I really honestly think it is? Is that football was always, any other sport was always kind of a way to kill time until football.
Oh yeah.
Like baseball. Even though I love baseball, baseball was always one of those things that is there until football. Hockey is legit. Like hockey's legit, but yet again, hockey was like, okay, well, yeah, it's on a lot during football season, but I need something to do Monday through Saturday. And cool, we'll have a Sharks game Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Awesome. So I got a hockey game to watch 3 days of the week. And I got football on Sunday, and I can suck it up for 3 days, the rest of the 3 days, or baseball or basketball you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now because I've done this, so it's like Tuesday, for example. Well, all Tuesday is pretty much dedicated to doing stuff for the show, whether it's listening to podcasts, reading articles, whatever. I mean, yeah, I might have some errands to go do, but so much of my week is dedicated to doing something for the show, whether it's making a t-shirt design, making an advertising for, our clothing company, listening to a podcast, reading an article, going on somebody's show. There's always something with this. And then you add in the fact that I have a girlfriend that also, I have to pay attention to. I just don't really have time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just really don't have time anymore. My life is so focused on Niner football right now because it's not so, oh, well, I'm not going to care until, July. No, literally this job's from March to March. Like there's always something to report on because it's the draft, it's free agency.
Yeah.
It's, after OTAs, we're going to have, there'll be like a week or two that we're like sucking through it. But I mean, even after OTAs, you got camp battles and position battles to go over. And there's just always something going on. But all right, bro. Any other things you wanted to cover this week?
No, I think we hit everything. Like I said, I wanted to bring up Hufanga too. After seeing a couple articles about him. And then obviously the Kinlaw Cone thing was going to be the big one. I think that's pretty much on everybody's point.
Yeah, I will say this. Talanoa Hufanga has the opportunity to be that almost like that Dre Greenlaw in 2019. When you think about like where would we really be without Dre Greenlaw? Because it wasn't just the clinch by an inch that he made. He made several big plays during the season.
And he played damn good that year.
And so Talanoa Hufanga has and it might not be a one play, like he might not get his clinch by the inch, but it would be like people like us, people who really follow the team and everything like that would be like, dude, where were the Niners? Like if we're at a Super Bowl parade and my boy's bringing me on his show and says, hey, T, what's the number one secret of why the Niners won the Super Bowl this year? It would not be surprised if I said, look, the least known big reason that the Niners won the Super Bowl is because of Talanoa Hufanga. Now, I'm not going to say like he's going to have an all-pro season or anything, but I think that he's going to make an impact this year. I think he's going to make some plays because the man gets by the football. The man's by the football.
All.
And so I think that he's going to make some big plays just by being by the football. Now he's going to give up some big plays. But I think
that's the nature of a ball hawk.
Yeah, that's the nature of a ball hawk. This is the reason why it's nobody talks about, Babe Ruth held, and I think it's now broken, but for forever, Babe Ruth also held the record in Major League for most strikeouts. Nobody ever talks about the Babe Ruth was the record holder for most strikeouts. They always talk about him being the record holder for most home runs. Why do you think he had the most strikeouts? Because he was always swinging for fences. He swung at everything. He just happened to hit more home runs probably and hit the ball more than he struck out. But nobody talks about that. So Talanoa might give up 6 touchdowns this year. But he has 9 picks. Just for example. I know that's a lot of picks. But you know what I'm saying? He might give up 4 touchdowns but have 6 picks.
Well, that's how what's his name Diggs is in Dallas.
Yeah.
He gives up a ton of yards and stuff, but I mean, he still makes huge plays with picks and stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Josh Norman. People love Josh Norman last year simply because he could force a couple of fumbles. They got burnt,
and that's what. Look, I literally think that Josh Norman I think that's literally the only way you put. All right, Josh, you're gonna give up a PI. You know,
You're gonna get
whatever.
burned.
Maybe a touchdown and everything like that. But you know what? You give us a turnover or two in the game, and I can make it for that touchdown. You give us that turnover you created, giving us that extra possession. Literally, we can score a touchdown and make up for your mistake. Yeah. I fully agree to that. I could see Talanoa Hufanga being our Josh Norman this year, where he's replaceable, and you know you're not saying, oh my God, just Jimmy Ward and Talanoa Hufanga for life. But I just feel because the team is not going to make the investment that's going to get you a Jamal Adams. They're just not going to spend a first round pick on a safety. They're just not going to do it. So because we're not going to make that type of investment, I think that we're stuck with Talanoa Hufanga, and I think that might just be okay. When I'll say, hey, you know what? I don't feel that it's going to be as big of a deal because of the pass rush. My biggest worry that will hurt Talanoa is that if, let's say, he only gives up 3 touchdowns or 3 to 4 touchdowns all season, that's not that many touchdowns to give up for the caliber of player you expect him to be. But if that touchdown comes against if those touchdowns come against in the last seconds of a game against against Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, Tom Brady, and 2 against Matthew Stafford, and now we're all of a sudden, instead of 12-5, we're 9-8. You see what I'm saying? If those touchdowns come in the first quarter and we end up winning the game, nobody gives a shit.
Most people forget them. They'll forget.
Nobody gives a shit. But if it's the pass to Devontae Adams that led up to the field goal, last year against Green Bay at home, that's what I'm worried about. Talanoa is that if he gives up those 4 touchdowns in the first quarter, nobody fucking gives a shit. But are those touchdowns going to come by? Same with Trey. That's what makes me nervous about Trey. Hey, you're going to throw picks, bro. You're probably going to have 3, 4, 5 pick games. But do those 2 picks come? Do 2 of those picks come in the first quarter when nobody gives a shit about, or do they all come in the fourth quarter? That's what worries me about Trey. But all right, y'all. We'll go ahead and let you get up out of here, Jason. Appreciate it. And
good as
we'll
always.
have to get together. We'll have to get together this week or next week or something. Figure out what we can do about these Dolphin tickets.
Yeah, because me and my boy are already looking at tickets, so we need to figure out something.
Yeah, we got to get, because we just bought our plane tickets for Denver. We got to look at tickets for that game, look at tickets for the Denver game, and then also see if it's realistic of not going to the game, but going out to Vegas for New Year's. Just going out for New Year's Eve and then staying for the game and then just kind of leaving. Kind of having a crazy weekend in Vegas. But because apparently a bunch of people are going out there. And
it's gonna be half of it. That town's gonna be nothing but faithful.
Exactly. And it's funny because everybody that we're going to Vegas. We're going to Vegas. Literally, I've not heard one person say they're actually going to the game. Everybody I've talked to has been like, yeah, we're going to Vegas. We're just gonna watch the game in the casino or MGM.
There's so much more to do just besides going to the game.
And that's what I'm saying.
You're gonna be able to take over bars and stuff like that.
I looked at my girl. I said, tailgate, which is going to be from 9 to 1. So, then the game, which is going to be 1 to 4.
And then you keep partying all night long. Win or lose, you're going to be partying.
Then you go out of the game. That's probably 5 o'clock. So you're talking about 5 o'clock. So you're talking about from 9 to 5 versus I could do whatever for 3 hours until noon when I got to do the pregame. And then we're already out at 1 o'clock. We're already out and about in the town and partying or doing whatever. We ain't, we could just stay here all night. We don't got to go anywhere else. Versus having to leave the stadium and
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Madness. So we'll see what's up. But yeah, we'll get together and do that. All right, brother.
Deuces.
All right, y'all. Before we get out of here, of course, we have any more comments? Yeah, okay. We of course got to remind everybody to help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link and save 10%. All you have to do is click on the link in the description of the podcast or video. Go to seatgiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. You see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, and follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio, and Niner Faithful are on Twitter. And lastly, but definitely not least, thanks for tuning in to the end of the show. As promised, this week's discount code for 10% off of Season 2 for the Faithful by the Faithful Apparel is Season 2. 10% excludes any on-sale items that cannot be combined with any other coupon. Code expires midnight, August 30th, 2022. Thank y'all so much for tuning in this week. I shall see y'all next week. Till then, faith, love, and nappiness. Go Niners.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
See ya.